Science has always been about venturing into the unknown, but sometimes it leads us down paths we probably shouldn't tread. In laboratories tucked far from public view, scientists have conducted crossbreeding experiments that stretch the limits of both biology and morality. These creations aren't just strange, they're deeply disturbing, sparking serious questions about how far humanity will go in the pursuit of innovation. In this video, we're diving into 15 crossbreeding experiments that feel like they came straight out of the Frankenstein movie. Let's kick off this list with Number 15. Boar-pig hybrid. The boar-pig hybrid is one of the wildest hybrids on Earth. A cross between Eurasian wild boars and domestic pigs, these animals have taken over landscapes from Europe to the Americas, Australia, and beyond. Sometimes bred intentionally to recreate Iron Age pigs for specialty meat. Most hybrids are feral, born from domestic pigs escaping into the wild and interbreeding with wild boars. The result? Aggressive, intelligent, and destructive animals that devastate farmland, ecosystems, and property. In places like Texas and Brazil, these hybrids are hunted relentlessly as invasive pests. In Sweden, wild boars have even broken into farms to mate with pen sows. In North America, razorbacks now roam in massive numbers, millions of them. Their traits revert to wild with each generation: long snouts, tusks, and sharp temperaments. The bigger problem: very few predators can stop them. These hybrids aren't just a biological fluke, they're a global problem. Born from human introduction, sustained by environmental neglect, and spreading fast, the boar-pig hybrid is the monster we accidentally created and now can't contain. Number 14. Kunga. We won't lie, but few stories in animal hybrid history are as amazing as the tale of the kunga, a cross between a domesticated donkey and a wild ass. First bred around 3000 BC in what is now Iraq. This wasn't some fluke of nature. The ancient Mesopotamians intentionally engineered this hybrid to combine the donkey's tameness and muscle with the wild ass's speed and resilience. And the result? You'll get a potent work animal designed for hauling, farming, and even warfare. These creatures weren't just tools. They were elite assets in their time, bred for performance in the toughest conditions. As civilizations evolved and horses became the standard for transport and agriculture, the kunga gradually disappeared. But its legacy didn't vanish. It remains one of the earliest known examples of human-driven animal engineering, proving that even 5,000 years ago, people were already manipulating genetics for survival and dominance. The kunga stands as a monument to ancient innovation, an animal born of purpose, not chance. Number 13. Apollo the liger. Apollo, the liger, looks like he stomped straight out of 2025 Snow White, but it's not that bad. Born from a male lion and a lady tiger, this colossal cat tips the scales at over 700 pounds and measures nearly 12 feet long. With his golden mane and faint tiger stripes, Apollo is a visual powerhouse. But behind the spectacle lies a tough reality. Ligers don't exist in nature. Lions and tigers live on separate continents and would never cross paths. Apollo was bred in captivity, likely for the wow factor and photo ops in zoos or tourist parks. That fame comes at a price. Ligers like Apollo suffer from major health complications. Rapid growth puts strain on joints, causes heart problems, and often cuts their lifespan short. So while Apollo's presence is jaw-dropping, it's also a reminder of the ethical tightrope humans walk when blending species for show. His story forces us to ask, just because we can create something this wild, should we? Number 12. Human-chimp hybrid. The concept of a human-chimp hybrid, often called a humanzee, sounds like the kind of thing you'd only see in a dystopian movie, but it sparked real conversations in science. Since humans and chimpanzees share nearly 98% of their DNA, the theory isn't far-fetched biologically, but ethically, that's where things get uncomfortable. The idea would involve extreme genetic manipulation, either mixing sperm and egg from both species, or engineering embryos in a lab. Soviet scientist Ilya Ivanov infamously tried this in the 1920s, drawing a global backlash. But here's the real question: if such a being were created, what would it be? Could it think like us, feel emotions, deserve rights? That potential for sentience is what truly scares people. A humanzee wouldn't just challenge science, it'd obliterate our legal, moral, and philosophical boundaries. And that's why, despite the scientific curiosity, this concept serves more as a cautionary tale than a roadmap. It's not just a step too far, it's a leap off an ethical cliff. Number 11. Zonky. In the heart of Florence, an unexpected love story unfolded between a zebra and a rare Amiata donkey, and the result was Ippo, a rare and ridiculously adorable zonkey. Born on the Aguiletti family farm, a rescue haven for mistreated animals, Ippo became a local sensation almost overnight. His story starts with Martin, a zebra who made a daring escape from his enclosure one night, finding his way to Giada, the donkey. What followed was pure biological magic. Ippo was born with zebra-striped legs and a donkey's face, looking like he walked straight out of a cartoon sketchbook. At just 3 months old, he's already the star of the shelter, drawing crowds who come just to snap a photo of his wild appearance. But beyond the novelty, Ippo represents something deeper: the unpredictability of nature and the strange beauty that can come from unlikely connections. In a world full of engineered hybrids, Ippo's existence feels like pure, unfiltered serendipity. Number 10. Nuga Narwhal Beluga Hybrid. Somewhere in the remote, frozen reaches of the Arctic, an unusual marine hybrid known as the Nuga swims beneath the ice, a rare cross between a narwhal and a beluga whale. First genetically confirmed in the early 2000s, the Nuga is the ocean's version of a biological remix. Narwhals, aka the unicorns of the sea, are known for their iconic tusks and mysterious behavior. Belugas, meanwhile, are social snow-white whales celebrated for their complex vocalizations. Blend them together and you get a creature with a beluga's rounded head, darker tones, and sometimes even a small tusk, reminiscent of its narwhal parent. This hybrid doesn't just look cool. It tells scientists a story about adaptation, interbreeding, and what's possible in the ever-changing Arctic ecosystem. As climate shifts disrupt traditional migration patterns, encounters between once separated species become more likely. The Nuga isn't just a rare find, it's a living symbol of how nature, when pushed by change, starts to write its own strange rules. Number 9. Jackalope. The jackalope is what you get when someone looks at a rabbit and thinks, you know what's missing? Antlers. This mythical creature, a jackrabbit with antelope horns, has bounced its way into American folklore and barroom tall tales since the early 1900s. Rooted in the Wild West, the jackalope has become a quirky icon of absurdity and charm. The myth likely began when folks spotted rabbits with bizarre horn-like growths caused by a rare virus. But let's be real, when has the truth ever stopped a great story? The jackalope quickly became a hit with pranksters, storytellers, and souvenir shops alike. From mounted taxidermy heads to gag postcards, it turned into a marketing goldmine. Some even claim this critter can mimic human voices just to mess with campers. Whether you believe in this horned hopper or just admire the creativity behind it, the jackalope stands tall, well tall enough, as a legend born from humor, exaggeration, and a love for the wonderfully weird. Number 8. Jaglion. The Jaglion sounds like a Marvel character, but it's a real-life hybrid of a jaguar and a lion. Born in 2006 at Bear Creek Wildlife Sanctuary in Ontario, Canada, 2 cubs, Jazara and Tsunami, immediately stole the spotlight. With traits from both parents, they became the A-listers of the exotic animal world. Jaguars are lone predators from South American rainforests, while lions rule the African savanna in prides. In the wild, they'd never meet. But in captivity, humans made the intro. The result? Cubs with jaguar-style rosettes, lion-like builds, and a commanding presence. They turned heads not just for their looks, but for the ethical questions they sparked. Are these hybrids majestic wonders, or just a product of human curiosity gone too far? Jazara and Tsunami became sanctuary favorites, but their existence blurs the line between science and spectacle. One thing's for sure, Jaglions is a mesmerizing reminder of what happens when humans rewrite nature's rulebook. Sometimes stunning, sometimes unsettling. Number 7. The revival of the woolly mammoth. The woolly mammoth, an Ice Age titan draped in shaggy fur and armed with massive tusks, has long haunted the dreams of scientists and storytellers. Extinct for thousands of years, this prehistoric beast once dominated the frigid tundras of the northern hemisphere. But now, thanks to mind-blowing advances in genetic engineering, bringing it back isn't just sci-fi, it's science in progress. Researchers are extracting preserved DNA from frozen mammoth remains buried deep in Siberian permafrost. Their mission? Edit this ancient code into the genome of the Asian elephant, its closest living cousin. The goal is to create a hybrid with mammoth traits, thick fur, cold resistance, and all. These embryos could then be carried by surrogate elephants. Beyond the Jurassic Park vibes, this effort might even help reverse climate change by restoring tundra ecosystems. However, the project stirs massive ethical debates. Should we resurrect extinct species at all, and how would a mammoth survive in today's altered world? For now, the answers remain as icy as their ancestral stomping grounds. Number 6. Human-pig hybrid. What happens when you blend human cells with pig embryos? No, it's not the pitch for a twisted sci-fi reboot, it's a real scientific experiment with some jaw-dropping goals. Researchers are exploring the possibility of growing human-compatible organs inside pigs to tackle the global transplant shortage. In theory, a pig could grow a liver or pancreas that's fully transplantable into a human. Sounds groundbreaking, right? But here's where things get weird. What if the human cells don't stop at the organs? What if they affect the brain? Would that pig still be, well, just a pig? The idea of human traits surfacing in animals freaks out ethicists and scientists alike. Some worry we're not just engineering organs, we're tinkering with personhood. Are these hybrids just meat machines with a purpose, or do they cross a moral boundary? While the science might save lives, it also opens a Pandora's box of uncomfortable questions. And in that box might be a pig, looking way too self-aware. Number 5. The hin hybrid of dolphin and whale. Meet Kai Malu, a hin, a rare blend of a bottlenose dolphin and a false killer whale, born in 1991 at Sea Life Park in Hawaii. She wasn't just a marine oddity, she was a scientific first, and her existence blew minds in the animal research world. Physically, Kai Malu combines traits from both parents. Her frame is bulkier than a standard dolphin, echoing her whale ancestry, but she still glides with that smooth dolphin grace. Her skin tone mixes the darker shades of her father with her mother's lighter, mottled patterns. But it's her personality that really made waves. Intelligent, curious, and remarkably social, Kai Malu charmed everyone she met. Her playful spirit drew in crowds and researchers alike. However, her birth also sparked debate. Should humans be creating such hybrids for study or display? While Kai Malu offered a rare insight into cetacean genetics, she also stood as a reminder of how science must tread carefully when it toys with nature's boundaries. Number 4. Butterfly the geep. Hybrids always turn heads, but few have made people stop and stare like Butterfly the geep. Born in 2000 at Cotswold Farm Park in England, Butterfly was the rare result of a goat-sheep crossbreeding experiment. And she didn't just look unusual, she sparked a serious wave of public and scientific curiosity. Her woolly coat hinted at her sheep lineage, but patches of short, goat-like hair gave her an unpredictable appearance. Her body shape leaned goat, yet her behavior seemed shy and sheepish. People were fascinated by her, a living mix of two very different species. Butterfly's birth wasn't just a quirky accident, it was a deliberate move to explore genetic compatibility between similar animals. But her existence raised big questions. Should we be doing this? Is the novelty worth the ethical concerns? Butterfly became a walking conversation starter, a sweet face at the center of a deeper debate about where curiosity ends and respect for natural boundaries begins. Science proved it could, but did it ask whether it should? Number 3. Human-cow hybrids. In an effort to tackle the growing organ transplant shortage, scientists have entered one of the most ethically gray areas of modern biology: human-cow hybrids. By merging human stem cells with cow embryos, researchers aim to grow human-compatible organs inside cows. Sounds revolutionary, right? Thousands of lives could be saved. But there's a darker side to this progress. If these embryos contain human cells, how human do they become? Could they develop awareness, pain response, or cognitive traits? That's where the ethical debate starts spiraling. The goal is clinical, to harvest life-saving organs without relying solely on donors. But blending species at the genetic level raises unsettling possibilities. What happens if human DNA influences more than just the liver or kidney? Could we accidentally create something sentient? While the science might be cutting edge, the questions it raises are ancient. What makes us human? And how far are we willing to go to save ourselves? These hybrids might help us live longer, but they also force us to confront where humanity draws its moral lines. Number 2. Grizzly polar bear hybrid. In the frigid wilds of Canada and Alaska, a new predator is quietly emerging: the grizzly bear, a natural hybrid between polar bears and grizzlies. Unlike most hybrids on this list, grizzlies weren't made in a lab, they're nature's response to climate chaos. As Arctic ice melts, polar bears are forced south. At the same time, grizzlies expand their range northward. When their worlds collide, so do their genes. The result is a hybrid with the powerful frame and claws of a grizzly and the pale fur and sleek features of a polar bear. These traits give grizzlies a survival edge in warming climates, more adaptable, more resilient, and oddly suited for the in-between zones their parents can't quite handle. First confirmed in the early 2000s, these bears are rare but growing in number. They're a living symbol of nature's ability to adapt and a warning sign of just how fast ecosystems are shifting. Grizzlies don't just blur the line between species, they expose the hard truth about climate-driven evolution. Number 1. Woolly mouse. The woolly mouse is exactly what it sounds like. A lab-grown mouse with mammoth-like fur created as part of a bold genetic experiment by Colossal Biosciences in 2025. Designed to mimic the cold-adapted traits of the extinct woolly mammoth, these mice were a proof of concept in the company's de-extinction program. Scientists used gene editing to insert mammoth-inspired traits into mice, including thick, golden-brown fur and enhanced cold resistance. They modified 9 key genes related to hair growth and fat metabolism, aiming to test which combinations might eventually help resurrect mammoths via their closest relative, the Asian elephant. The woolly mice weren't just adorable, they were walking test subjects, designed to explore how ancient adaptations could survive in modern bodies. Some lived, some didn't, but those that did had 5-centimeter coats and showed early signs of cold tolerance. While the project raised eyebrows, it also raised questions: should we resurrect extinct species at all, or should our focus be on protecting the ones we're already losing? Well, drop whatever you think down below. And we hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.